Hello and welcome to the Heresy Lodge. I'm your host, Dylan Cooper, the constant host over here.
Gavin Franklin.
And guys, we are here this week to review Vengeful Spirit by Graham McNeill.
And gotta say, your host Dylan Cooper over here for my birthday purchased me this big beautiful mic, and I feel like I could talk into it like a sexy host.
Yep, that's exactly what's happening. So going off that, yes, it is Gavin's birthday. It was actually on Tuesday last week or this week, whenever you listen to it. So yeah, happy birthday to Gavin. We did receive a contribution for a birthday beer. So next time we have Gavin up, we will have a special beer for him.
It will be soon, sometime in May for sure.
Yeah, excited. It's been a while since we've been together. I don't think we've been this far apart since like our freshman years of college.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's really sad.
I'm having a great time.
I was like, man, we spent so much time together. I'm like, I know, where's Gavin?
That's really sad the way you said that. Like, I really need to get away from my wife.
No.
Geez.
But guys, as always, get in on the Discord. It is a good time. I actually just came from one of our meetings before this episode aired. It's fun. We're literally just shooting the shit with the guys. Get on that by going to our Twitter. It is pinned to the top at Heresy Lodge. If you feel like contributing to the podcast, we do have tips enabled. Feel free to do that. Anything that goes into the podcast goes right back into it. There's a better way to say that.
It goes. What goes around comes
around. Yes. We have our email as always, which is theheresiLodge@gmail.com. Feel free to send anything to us there, whether it's compliments, concerns, whatever. Can't find the Discord link, let me know. I'll send it to you there. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe. If you're just listening, get to the YouTube and like and subscribe. That's it. Those are all of our things. Alcohol. What are you drinking?
Well, don't judge me. But I'm drinking an Angry Orchard today. But it's okay because it's a special edition Angry Orchard.
Oh man, that is super cool.
Yes. So there's two types. Came from a variety pack. Peach mango and old fashioned. So
which one is that one?
I'm drinking the peach mango right now, and then I'm gonna have the old fashioned afterwards. Okay. I plan on doing two this episode. It's been a long day.
I got 3 ready.
Oh jeez. But
I opened one up when I was chatting with the guys.
Funny story. I guess it's a funny story. More like an interesting story. My family for Easter I still do an Easter egg hunt every year. Mainly because most of my family's smart enough not to have kids at my age, except for my little brother.
So he just keeps making them.
Yeah, so the rest of my family, none of us have kids, so we're all like in our 20s, and our parents like, well, we still want to have an Easter egg hunt, so you go do that. But they keep doing like more creative things every year, and this year they did. They hid alcohol throughout the yard. It's like we had to run and go find like various alcohol, which is kind of sad, but that's what I did.
Next is going to be drugs.
I know. Like, go get the cocaine.
We got coke over there. We got some morphine pills over there.
No. My grandmother would never give away her morphine pills. I hope my grandmother never listens to this. Grandma, I love you.
It's all right. She's still in the yard looking.
But we need to talk about your addiction. Yeah, so that's what I'm drinking, and that's where it's from.
Cool. I am drinking Janice Specialty Honey Brown.
What is this? Where is this from?
According to the bottle, it is from...
Didn't even look. What a terrible host.
It's beer brewed with honey. It's a product of the USA.
Well, then it's got to be good.
It's pretty decent.
How is it? Is it decent?
Yeah.
Beer brewed with honey. Sounds like mead.
Kind of, but not as good.
Well, there it is.
Yeah, I don't
So,
know where this place is. honeybrownlocker.com. Someone look it up. Let me know. By like and
Vengeful
subscribing to
Spirit.
our YouTube.
Vengeful Spirit. We just talked right before the episode started because we always kind of do like a. Sometimes we talk a little bit before, and this time I just had, it's a 600-page book, so you have to get an idea of like what the deal is. And you like this book a lot more than I did. It seems like.
Yeah, I would give it a B. So SAB. I think it has good moments. I like several of the characters. Everything's not pretty. It's very long. I honestly think this book could have been A to S tier if there was literally stuff cut out of it.
I give this book a D because
Oof.
it highlights so many problems of the general Horus heresy. And I know I've been cynical about the past couple books. It's because they've been bad. But like, Scars was a good book. We talked about how Scars was a good book. I enjoyed Scars a lot. And Garo and Vengeful Spirit, a lot of people love this book, and I get why, and I also don't at the same time. But I'd love to talk about it in the review. So here we go. Where would you like to start? Start with the premise real quick. Run through.
Sure.
I can do the premise of this book in like a minute. You ready?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Horus vaguely remembers the planet of Moloch during the Great Crusade, but doesn't remember all of it and finds it very strange. So he, along with his brother Mortarion, go to Moloch to try and uncover what secrets the Emperor has protected from Horus. While at the same time, what's his
There's
face?
resistance.
There is resistance on Moloch. Boom. End of sentence. While at the same time,
Garo
what's
shows
his
up.
face?
Or not
Yeah.
Garo, Loken shows up.
Well, yeah, I keep mixing them up all the time too. But what's his Lehman Russ? Basically sends Garo in a group of
Nope. He sends
Malcador's
Loken.
sends Loken in a group of Malcador's knights errants to go and mark the Vengeful Spirit for a preemptive attack by Lehman Russ on Horus. That's the entire premise of this book. 621 pages.
Yep.
Here is the problem for me, because this is going to be a harsh truth for people that are reading this, but are big fans of this book. But importance to the heresy. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's super important because we find out how Horus gets his power up.
That's it. Everything else about this book is completely worthless to the heresy. There are very small, minor things, but I truly believe that if you wanted to, okay, you came to the Vengeful Spirit, like that's a big ass book. Just know Horus is more powerful now, and you could skip this book.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to like say like what came out of this book, you have a new perpetual. We got
Which they pop those out all the time now.
Yeah, I mean technically this is our return of Loken.
Well, yeah, I guess so, because Garo comes after this.
Yep. And
Iacton dies.
yeah, a guy who we've seen in one short story since came back to die.
So which story do you want to start with first? Should we start with Horus's story? Should
I say we
with
end with Horus because it's gonna be probably the most entertaining.
Yeah.
I say let's start. Let's get the fat, okay? So like first things first, the Blood Angels and Ultramarines.
Well, yeah.
Literally did nothing.
100%. Like completely useless characters. Let's talk about the defense of Moloch. So the War Master comes down to Moloch in order to find the secret that the Emperor is hidden from him. Throughout this, there is a space battle. That's all you need to know. It was probably 30 pages in the book. Horus did some shit. Okay, this blew my mind because I actually followed the space battle to the best of my understanding. Because space battles are like they're it's like three-dimensional space, and they're trying to describe warfare in space, which is like I've been wanting to do this all week. You ready? I'm gonna do this a couple times. The ship rotated. It was the Onager's plaintiff. Several missiles racketed the sides, but its shields were fine. Then it blew up. 4 seconds later, it came out of the explosion. Undetected by the radar, flames came out of it. Killed 17 ships. Like, what'd you get from that? No one. No one got anything from that. What the fuck is happening? That's the way space battles are described. Oh my goodness. This whole thing is like space battles, just don't do them. Stop.
Well, I mean, that's basically what they did, that Dan Abnett did in No Fear. And the greatest space battle ever happened.
Okay, here's the thing about No Fear. This is the thing about No Fear that Dan Abnett did better, okay? What happened? What was the thing that happened in the space battle of No Fear?
We'll never know.
Well, the space battle over Calf.
Shit started falling onto the planet.
Yeah, but at the same time, that ship went like warp drive into everything. It was like said over and over again, well, this ship just rammed into shit. It rammed into all kinds of shit. And then it showed like the next scene. Did that ship just ram into shit? And then like the next guy over there, that ship just rammed into all that shit. And you were like, I know what happened. I get what happened. This is good.
It's raining out here.
Yeah, but like when you're trying to describe an actual space battle, like in this one, some ships went under a radar, undetected.
They were like caskets.
Casket ships, but they weren't. Or they're tomb ships or something, and they came to life. So like basically Horus like sent empty ships or undetectable ships into the front lines of the enemy, and then they like blew a bunch of stuff up as soon as they got there.
I don't understand that's any different than like when they just like shove some space marines in a fucking torpedo and it's like, all right, have a good ride.
I don't understand why they don't just do that every time. That seems like the best method of attacking. If you can go completely undetected and then just blow shit up. And then they're like, that's a really difficult maneuver that he just made. I'm like, I'll take your word for it.
Oh no, we're on the wrong axis. Ah, fuck, we're goners.
Are we talking about the Z or the Y? I cannot stand space battles. Like there are certain space battles that I have seen that I've loved. The space battle in the Furious Abyss. You have that entire scene of Motep like walking through this blown up aircraft and these dead people that are getting sucked into space. Awesome. Just like super well described. They're not sitting there describing. And then Laser 1 fired towards Bay 3. And I'm like, how the fuck?
I don't even know what the hell these mean.
Exactly. And they like keep naming torpedoes and naming ships. Oh man. So that's one stage of the battle. Okay. Malik is ruled over by a house of knights called House Divine. And they have an entire story here that they prepare for the invasion of the War Master and they fight in the Battle of the War Master. And in truth, this was my second favorite story in this book.
I liked it until the end of its story.
Exactly. Like I was like, okay, this is a really cool story. And then at the end, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this story.
Yep.
So real quick synopsis of this. The house is the house is
pure.
They're pure. How
pure blood.
How pure do you say? The purest you can get. Brother and sister. They just go at it. Stepbrother, stepsister are married to each other, or half brother, half sister are married to each other. So basically it starts out, and this entire house is like worshiping very clearly a Slaneshi cult, is what it is. And the oldest son, or actually, oldest son is a cripple who was unable to bond with his knight. And the middle son, Revan, kills this father and takes ownership of the house. Steals his brother's wife, who's his actual sister, and they like have 3 kids.
Yeah, that was supposed to also be his wife.
Yeah,
she was his wife first.
His sister wife, but it was the other, his half brother's wife first. But yeah, it was a little weird. So the real thing that I enjoyed about this story is Albarad.
Man, I'm gonna be honest. I kept calling him fucking Albert.
Albert. So Albert, who is the oldest son and a cripple, he makes a comeback, and he is able to kill all of these people. Now, there is a scene,
but I mean, I kind of want to go into his story more because he was actually interesting.
Yes,
so
Albert.
He was the oldest son. He was like the promised one. He was supposed to be this bad motherfucker. He tries to merge with his knight, and this is the part that I hated. He sees a fucking cat, and it scares him. So the knight's like, no pussy can control me. And he becomes a cripple. Yeah. It's like locked away in a tower for like 50 fucking years. And his fucking stepmom is like sucking his blood for visions. They're just like keeping him alive for his blood at that point.
Yeah, they're like cutting it out of his thigh.
Yeah, he's just like skin and bones, and like they think he's just nuts, but it's like actually not nuts.
Yeah,
that's and a fucking really charade to play for a long time.
They like lift up his. They're about to like bleed him at one point, and they lift up his like robes. I was like, is she about to suck this guy's dick?
The same fucking
because they kept talking about like how he was needed for his seed. And then she lifted up his robes, and I'm like, is she just about to ride this dude right now? Like, what the fuck is happening?
I honestly thought the same thing. You got to keep it pure.
I was like, this is getting really weird with House Divine.
He was supposed to be way cooler than Raven, so they're like, we got to get the good seed.
So Raven, interesting scene with him. He actually does ride out in the defense of Malik. And at one point, I thought, oh, this Raven guy, he's bad news. He's going to side with Horus because he's obviously in a Slaneshi cult. No, he tries to kill Horus in a really badass scene. And it was ruined, in my opinion, because this is what happened. Horus, who we all know is going to live because it's the Horus heresy, gets charged by a knight. And I'm wondering...
3 knights.
Yeah, 3. And I'm wondering, how's he going to get out of this? He's pretty fucked. Guess what he does? He absorbs the blow.
He just runs in there and starts fucking cutting him.
Yeah. So literally these knights hit him, and like these like demon things surround Horus. He literally absorbs the blow. I'm like, what a great... He 100% has plot armor. Like, imagine Horus. I'm going to go blow up that Titan. But, sir, how are you going to do that? I'm going to absorb the blows. I'm just going to keep rolling with the punches.
Dude, that's like the thing I hate so much about these books right now. It's like
the ridiculous power level.
You're putting them in, like, dangerous situations, but you've never once been scared. You've only killed Manus. And like that's like been the only shocking factor.
Which is stupid because he should have just absorbed the blow like Horus did.
Yeah, I agree.
He should have just absorbed the thrust from the fulcrum. Like it was talking about how like there's no way that a Primarch could even withstand a knight's spear. And after seeing what the knight's spears did in this book, I would agree. And it literally like the demons that surround, they didn't die. Horus didn't even really get injured in any significant way.
He was just like tired. Like, whew, that was a
He was just like,
workout.
oh man, it was a lot to absorb that blow.
I should be dead.
Didn't even damage his armor. He just like took it. It was great.
I really hated the fact too. Like every time something like that happened, it's like I should be dead. Yeah, We agree. You should be fucking dead or
Please.
something.
Would have been a
Lose an
way more
arm.
interesting story. Oh my goodness. It's so I hate that so much. It's like how yes, why are they even putting him in danger when we know what's going to happen? And even when they do, they don't even come up with a compelling reason for him to get out of it. They're just like, and then he took a night lance to the chest. He was like, fuck, I'm fine.
Damn, what'd you do
I'm
that
Horus.
for?
And then he blinked and 3 knights blew up and the other ones ran away. So yeah, back to the House Divine storyline. Albert kills Raven and assumes
Well, hold on.
knighthood.
Before that, like Raven survives his encounter with Horus. He like kind of goes on like the deep end a little bit because like he's lost 2 of his sons. His third one sucks and he doesn't care about him really, but you know. And then like he gets back in his night and like goes into the forest because his mom or his wife that was like
His wife.
Yeah, sends them into the fucking forest to find their god.
The great white or the white
something.
Yeah, the cats or some shit.
I don't know. Either way, it's a fucking Slanesh demon. Like a set.
Is it though?
Like, I think.
Is it a Slanesh demon?
I mean,
or
it talked
is it
about
Fulgrim?
That's confusing.
It was very confusing and something I wanted to bring up with you because where the fuck was Fulgrim? Fulgrim gets brought up in the very end, and they were like, "What did Fulgrim do?" And I was like, "That's a great question." And Horace was like, he said Fulgrim planted seeds here many years ago, which was even more confusing to me because Fulgrim was only recently allied to Slanesh, and then he also said, but he felt sorry for his brother because he like it never feels good to get like your wings or whatever clipped by a knight something. So like I'm pretty sure that Slanesh demon was actually Fulgrim.
But did it implant itself into the knight? Did he implant himself into a knight afterwards and then
psychically
merge with Albert?
I don't know. From what I understood from it, the Great White Naga is what it was called, was Fulgrim. Because if you think about the way it was described, it literally is Fulgrim, multi-armed, half-serpent body with wings. That's the demon primarch Fulgrim.
Sounds like a fucking idiot.
But anyway,
yeah, whatever.
Albert kills this, or Raven denies this Fulgrim / demon prince thing. And he then gets killed by Albert, which at the time I was like, that's fucking awesome. Go Albert. And then Albert is like, fuck it, I'm going to go Slanesh mode.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to merge with the knight because it's my fucking birthright. I also like that he's like wearing like, after he killed his stepmom, he like put on her fucking like exosuit and just like, like barely getting around, killing people.
It's a really weird story.
It is a weird story.
Like the House Divine story, it's definitely a Graham McNeill kind of story. Like he had to find some way to work some weird Slanesh shit in. Notice how
it's incest.
You notice how Fulgrim shouldn't have even been in this book, but Graham was like, I got an idea.
Yeah.
Like Fulgrim literally had no role here. He's like, what if, okay, I know this is going to extend the book out to like 630 pages, but we could put in like some weird incest shit, and this knight could be getting sucked off by Slanesh demons in his carapace thing. Because like he gets, when Albert like transforms into Slanesh, like he wakes up at one point and there's these like demons sucking on his arms. It was like, I'm fine with it because I look really good. Like the whole thing was like, he's a cripple, and he was like, oh my gosh, I have to deny Slanesh, and then the demon Fulgrim thing, whatever, was like, yeah, but check out your body.
He's like, I got a 6-pack.
Yeah, fucking 6-pack.
I got legs with muscle.
Demon's like sucking on his arms. He's like, it's okay. It's okay. Let him in. And Graham was like, this is going to be the best part. It kind of was. It was an interesting part.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And the incest shit, yeah. That was the story. House Divine was also responsible for the downfall of Moloch at the end. They lost the battle, which is a whole nother thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about a scene right before the War Master shows up. All of the defense commanders on Moloch meet. Holy crap. This is the problem I have with this book. One of the problems. There's like 30 people. They're all named very briefly. It's like reading the Bible.
Yep.
And so is in charge of this area, and so is in charge of this area. And I'm like, you spent 4 pages doing this to me, and I have no idea what's going on whatsoever.
And then like they're named for like 90 pages, and like, who are you?
You have to flip all the way back to like the Deuteronomy portion of the Bible, where it's like, okay, what was their name again? So then it leads into the battle, and this is the worst part. So the battle itself is an entire chapter that's like 65 pages. But there are also other chapters that are partially the battle. So the Battle of Moloch is, I would say, close to 200 pages of this book, the actual battle portion of it.
I don't know. There's a 60-page chapter was nothing but a battle, and it hurt.
And this is the problem. It is so fucking hard to describe these battles on paper. So that's
I can't even like picture like knights and shit either. Like, how big are they?
Let me ask this question. The Imperator Titan, okay, the one that was like the big badass Titan that the Loyalists had that was doing some crazy shit. How big do you think he is?
I literally don't know. Because
I've heard
I've seen like so many things. Because then they talk about the one like the Ultramarines had like a city on it.
Yeah. That's not a fucking thing. It's all ridiculous. So you can look it up. The largest ever recorded is 150 meters, which for reference is like 480 feet. It's smaller than any of the skyscrapers in Indianapolis.
Doesn't make any sense. How does that have a fucking city?
It makes no sense. You may be able to fit like a couple houses.
Yeah, the house.
Yeah. Maybe like a beer garden up there.
I'd go on a Titan for a beer garden.
I don't know why my mind went to beer garden, but that's where it went. So one of the problems I have is like everything is so overly described and it's so ridiculously large scale that none of it makes any sense. Give you for instance, the Death Guard are on one side of a forest. It stretches for thousands of miles. It would take somebody weeks and weeks to cross this area.
I want to time out real quick about this forest. So these night houses sit there and they killed the animals in the forest.
Yes.
What the fuck? Caliban, they just fucking decimated that shit. Why didn't they do that for Malik?
Yeah.
Like that, give him something to do. Let him kill fucking demon-looking things.
Well, so this whole thing is like, it's an insanely massive forest that stretches for thousands of miles, which is an insane proposal because that's greater than the continental United States. So the Death Guard just walk through it. They burn it down with the Life Eater virus, but they just walk through it. So a Terminator walks with the
He's just naked
than the continental United States throughout the course of this book. That's what he does. Like Mortarian's like, hey, I know we have like storm birds and like drop pods, but I want you to walk 2,000 miles because we're Death Guard. I'm like, this makes a lot of sense. So this is what the experience was like reading about this battle. So they fought in a dome, but then the person went to the corner to see an explosion that beheaded Abaddon. Ha, that would work if we weren't the sons of Horus. He put his head back on. Fire consumed everybody, killed everybody in seconds. 10 million survived. rockets everywhere, putting craters in the earth as big as mini planets. We climbed through them. I'm like, what is happening? What is going on? How do you even make it to the corner of a dome? There's no such thing. It's like there's so much overly described, and like I will admit, and like you get so lost. There was at one point in time, it's when the Imperator Titan exploded. Okay, it says that everything within a 1,500-meter radius instantly died, and I'm like so glossed over at this point. I read everything.
I didn't even
within,
remember reading
yeah,
that.
I read that everything in a 1,500-mile radius died, and I was like, wait a fucking minute. You're telling me that this dude who's smaller than any of the skyscrapers that we have in the United States blows up an area larger than the continental US? Like, how does that
But
work?
after it blew up, there was still a survivor who just sat there and watched Mortarion and Horus like hug.
Yeah.
What was the point of that?
Abaddon was apparently right underneath it. That was the last scene we got from Abaddon. Was the Imperator Titan was like stepping on him. Would have worked if it wasn't for the Sons of Horus. Would have worked out any inferior legion for the Sons of Horus. Oh my gosh! You think you can have an Imperator Titan just blow up in my face? I'll absorb the blow.
It is written.
Oh my gosh, it's just ridiculousness of fighting that makes like no sense. And I'm like, stop trying to describe these things. Just stop. It's so
Yeah, it's
rough. Like
painful.
you wrote a 60-page battle scene and it was not the Battle of the Pontar. Like it was not from Lord of the Rings. Like, and I'm sure that if I sat down and I have not read the Lord of the Rings, but I'm sure if I sat down the Battle of the Pontar, which is Minas Tirith in the third movie, it would be super dry and terrible to read about because the battles are in general just really difficult to read and they're difficult to write.
Yeah, and it's hard to imagine it too, especially when it's
Such a big scale.
Yes, I mean, especially like Warhammer. Like I'm sure at least like a medieval-esque, like it might not be as bad. Like I'm trying to think like Game of Thrones, like when they like write like Battle of the Bastards.
Yeah.
Like hearing them like, oh, like like I had to like climb over the bodies and shit. It's like I can picture that.
Yeah, on a smaller scale, you're talking like maybe a square mile at most, where this you're talking
Yeah.
about continents. Like they leveled a fucking mountain. How am I supposed to imagine that? Like how big is this mountain and what impact does that have on the surrounding area? I'm assuming a lot.
I'm sure if you dropped a bomb strong enough to blow up the mountain, it would have decimated everything in a very large radius.
Probably the planet. Like if
Yes.
a bomb was large enough to blow up Mount Everest, I can imagine that a majority of Asia would go with it.
I mean, how big was the fucking asteroid comet thing that wiped up the dinos? How big was that? It was like 20 miles or some shit.
Yeah, it wasn't insanely large. I don't know. We could be incredibly wrong, but
Might have been 5 inches. Who knows? I
5
tell
inches
my
came
wife 5
really
inches is
fast.
close to 20 miles.
It's close to 20 miles. It's relative. Are we talking asteroids?
Let me show you on a map.
Let me show you how to absorb a blow. There's just it's just so much description that it's hard to read. And I understand we talked about this in the Discord, and a lot of the argument against this is like that's Warhammer. And you're right, it is Warhammer on a tabletop where you get to literally see everything that's going on. Even though you're in a setting that's Warhammer, it's up to the authors to make that setting appealing in a way that readers can grasp. Yeah, inconsistent. The inconsistencies, you're never going to get consistencies in Warhammer writing. I mean, whoever legion you're writing about is the most powerful legion. I mean, Horus can literally absorb blows now. Like it's crazy. So like, I think what I'm trying to say is like you can write really interesting, compelling stories, like the ones with House Divine, without writing a 65-page long chapter about a battle.
Yeah, I would have rather have like House Divine in the fucking short story.
Yeah. That's like
Just
a perfect idea for a short story right there.
yeah, like you have like you could have just introduced them and had them be like, oh yeah, they were traitors, blah blah blah, and then you can go into a short story on like why they were traitors. Like, sure, I'm
Yeah.
fine with that. I don't want to sit here and like just go through another battle for a book that's already had like 5 battles before it.
Yeah, I would rather have seen. So let's talk about the second. This is what blows my mind. Okay, you go through the 60 fucking page chapter about a battle that I don't give a fuck about because I already know what's gonna happen. Like no one's questioning that Horus is gonna be able to blow up some tanks.
Yep.
And like you go through this, and then you get to the other part of the defense, which is you have the Ultramarines. Oh, the Blood Angels just like died
They
to the
killed
Red Angel.
themselves.
They killed themselves because they didn't want to go crazy because the Red Angel was there.
What?
Yep. They were really upset with themselves for murdering people in the forest prior to that.
Well, the Ultramarines killed Ultramarines because some of them wanted to leave.
No, they didn't kill anyone.
Are you sure? I thought they did.
No, they didn't. They ended up not killing anybody. But the Blood Angels were upset with themselves because they had killed people in the forest. What people? Which forest? Never says. But they did it.
This is one big forest, dude.
Yeah, they killed themselves because they didn't want to go into the Blood Rage again. But there was another person set in for the defense of Malik, and that is what's her face?
I don't have the book in front of me.
Olivia.
Yeah.
Olivia. So she is a perpetual sent by the Emperor to protect Malik. So the big secret about this is Malik has a doorway into the Imperium. More specifically, for some reason, this doorway leads directly to like the Chaos God's realm. The realm. So she has a whole family here. There's an entire story about her getting her family to escape. She
It's
gets
interesting,
to
at least. At least it
yeah,
was like a
like
character.
I liked it because it was like
Different.
here's a human fleeing from a terrible war. Much more relatable than I was in
I
the
don't
middle
know.
of a dome. Then I was in the corner, and then it turned into a square, but it didn't matter because Mortarion can take a lot of hits. I'm like, okay, I get it. So it was way more interesting, way more relatable. But she gets her family off the planet, and then she goes to seal this door and enlist the help of Ultramarines. They fail. That's it. That's just they just fail.
Yeah.
Like they don't do anything that hinders Horus in any way. Like their
Yeah, she doesn't
story.
even like finish it. Like the Ultramarines just get blasted in like 10 seconds.
Yeah, like they all die. Their names mean nothing. This job that the girl is here to do meant nothing. Like those characters literally could not have existed, and it would have impacted the story 0%.
Yep.
She didn't complete her job. She didn't, like I said, hinder them. Like it's not like them being there cost Horus anything. No characters that were important died because of their existence.
Yeah. Also, I mean, this is just off of her story. The storybook she carries, what the fuck is up with that?
Yeah, I do want to bring that up because there's a bit of a point because her and Iacton have like a thing that occurs that's a little weird.
Yeah.
The storybook like changes words.
Yeah.
Seems like some fucking warp shit to me. Some
agree.
heretical. So she fails. That's her story. Like I wish there was more to it, but that's it. She's a perpetual. So she comes back in the end.
Somehow on the ship that her family's on. I don't know how perpetuals work, but I feel like they can't just like pop up wherever they want.
That's what she does. So you get this 60-page long description of a war. You get this Perpetual and the Ultramarines and the Blood Angels who literally do nothing, accomplish nothing, hinder people in zero way, shape, or form. And then you get to the scene where Horus steps through the portal into the Empyrean. How many pages is that?
I don't know, but it steps right back out.
It's about half a page. He has a conversation with the Red Angel, and then he comes out. And then later on, he's like, for thousands of years, I warred within the Imperium. I fought wars with demons and led armies
waited
and
for me all
hosts.
this time. You're like, dude, it's been like 3 seconds.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, that would have been a way cooler story to read about than the story that you just wrote about the Battle of Malik.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know why we didn't get that. Like that sounds incredibly cool. Like saying like you raise an army of fucking demons to fight more demons. Like that sounds fucking cool.
like imagine a book about Horus traveling through the realms of chaos, like going to Slaaneish's palace and denying all the pleasures of the world, and going to Khorne's realm and having to just fight to the death to get every inch, like thinking his way through Zinch's castle. Like that would be so awesome.
Yep.
Nope. We get
Horus looks older.
We get that girl just shot Noctuna in the heart, but it's okay because he has 2 hearts, so he's gonna go up. But guess what? He's also part demon now, but he loses his other heart. Who knows? That is like a whole story.
Yeah.
That's what we get instead of Horus leading demon hosts in the Imperium, which would have been really fucking cool. And it would have been really fucking cool for Graham to write that story. I bet you that would be sick as shit.
Yeah.
But this is what we got instead. So I'm doing a lot of complaining, but this is how I felt. That's how I felt.
Let it out. Let it out.
So Horus comes back, and that's the story of Horus and the story of Malik and the defense of Malik. And we have a side story while this is going on, which is the Knights Errant. Do you want to start with the Knights Errant story?
Well, I mean, we can go all the way back. So we have Loken meeting with Russ, and he's like, "You're the guy for the mission." Then we get the A-team built, kind of. We have Loken go try to get Severin, and Severin's like, "Nah, I'm not going."
I'm too cool for your mission. I'm Severin.
Yep. And then Loken shows back up on their new, really cool ship with everyone, and then they start going, and they're like, "There's someone on board," and Severin's just chilling, like, "Aha, just kidding, I'm here." And then you find out they go into the Vengeful Spirit, and I mean, they know it's a suicide mission, basically, as it should be, because that makes sense.
As it should be. I agree with that statement.
And we have some like cool interactions. I really like the Iron Warrior, just because he's super fucking dry.
So his story reminds me a lot. I don't know if you ever played like Mass Effect.
Yeah, the Mass Effect.
It's like they're sitting on the Andromeda, and like Loken's walking around having various conversations with people
Yeah.
before you click on the map and go to whatever planet you want to go to.
Yeah.
It's cool to get that little interaction. This is my favorite story. Their story is my favorite story until the end.
Yeah. We talked about how they picked up Iacton crews.
Yeah, they have Iacton. They get Severin. They have Loken. And then you have Rubio. You have
Kane.
Kane is the Iron Warrior.
Iron Warrior, yep. Roar is the Space Wolf.
Space Wolf. You have Emperor's Children. You have Varen, the World Eater. You have Arius Vortek, which is a Iron Hand. You have a White Scars Apothecary and a Raven Guard. So there's 11 people.
Yep. And they do all this random shit, get to the Vengeful Spirit, and their whole job is to like market for Russ.
This is bullshit in my opinion. So they have to mark the ship. Okay. All of the important parts of the ship, which is crazy because like they're already looking at like specs of the ship. Like they're looking at a map and they're like, this is the armory. We should mark it that it's the armory. Like,
Yeah,
the
that makes
map
you're
already
right.
tells you it's an armory. Like they're marking like routes for Lehman Russ to take, and they're arguing for like maybe 5 minutes about what route's the best. I'm like, I'm sure Lehman Russ could look at the exact same map and figure it out. Like that,
Yeah, I
he's
mean,
Lehman fucking Russ.
I'm sure there's the blueprint for the fucking ship. It's not like Horace built it himself
Yeah,
randomly
they're
after
looking
returning.
at the blueprint. Like they're looking at it right there, and they're like,
Yeah, what the fuck is the point of their mission?
exactly. So not only that, like they eventually get captured. We'll backtrack, but just to stay on this like topic, they get captured, and Horace is like, "What are you doing here, Logan?" And he's like, "We're marking the ship for Lehman Russ."
And later
So
on, they're like, "Should we erase those?" And Horace's like, "Dude, it doesn't fucking matter."
they have the blueprints, like.
Why did they send like 11 people?
Yeah, that like their story means absolutely nothing in this fucking book. Like nothing. Like whenever Wolfsbane happens, because Wolfsbane is the continuation of Vengeful Spirit, Lehman Russ is gonna show up, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a sentence that's like, "Oh, look at that mark. This is the armory."
Oh yeah, this is definitely Frar. I had to follow that.
Yeah, there's a special cant that we made up. I love at one point like Logan's like, "Can't they just erase it?" He's
Some of them
like,
are invisible ink.
his answer, it's almost like Graham McNeill was sitting down writing the story, and he gets like 75% of the way through.
He's like, ah, shit.
It's like, oh my God, they could just erase this stuff. Oh God. Yeah, I
What
can't
do
go
we
back to the
do?
drawing board now. Fuck. Logan's like, can't they erase it? And Boris like, let's not worry about that. It's like, what do you mean? That's like the
They got
whole
the
point.
blueprint anyway.
Yeah. Why are you even here? Like, what is your deal? Malcador is an idiot. So during this process of getting through the ship, Loken is having like Nam flashbacks,
Yeah.
being on the Vengeful Spirit, and he doesn't participate in battle. It leads to the death of the Emperor's Children guy. And then Loken's like, all right, serious face. In the meantime, Horus sends uh,
The Widowmaker.
Gargadon. Who's Gargadon? I don't fucking remember who Gargadon is.
Not the Widowmaker?
Oh, is Gargadon? No, Gargadon's not the Widowmaker. Widowmaker's like Folic or something like that.
Oh, he was there too.
Well, he sends Gargadon and he sends the Warlocked,
Yeah.
not the Warlock to go intercept them, and then the Raven Guard guy dies, and then they kill the Lodge Master of the Sons of Horus, but then he turns out to be Samus again.
Yeah, Samus is just always fucking around.
Samus is just there. They should have expected him around
He's like,
every
damn
corner.
it, I'm dead again. Son of a bitch.
They actually kind of make a bit of a joke about that. So one of the characters, Gargarodon, he's upset. He is possessed by none other than Tarek Torgadin, not Torgin. It's a It's
He's
like,
Torgageddon, I think.
yeah, Torgageddon, not Torgadon. So Torgageddon is like Tarek Torgadon, but like the evil version of Tarek Torgadon.
Yeah. It's
It's
like
weird.
a demon that like took his soul or something. And like this whole time, like Loken keeps like seeing like a shadow and like hearing like, please kill me.
So I think it's pretty obvious to me. Vengeful Spirit, a lot of the titles are double meaning titles, and Vengeful Spirit is the ship, but also I think it is Tarek, because Tarek throughout this entire book is like a spirit haunting the Vengeful Spirit,
Yeah.
like agging Loken to kill certain people.
Yeah.
A little lame that they
Which
have to bring.
even makes it even more confusing to me why there's that short story where like little
Axamon.
Horace was like, I'm so scared of Logan being alive. One's like, you didn't even kill him, dude. You killed fucking Torgadon, who's
Yeah.
fucking right there possessed by a demon now. Like, what the fuck? You're
Yeah.
not freaked out by that?
So that Targageddon dude kills the Raven Guard sniper. Um, they pick up an Ultramarine dude on the way. One of the Ultramarines that was in the space battle. I don't remember his fucking name.
Nope.
They get captured. And then, like, probably the worst written scene I've ever seen in any book happened. And that was the, like, confrontation on the Vengeful Spirit. Like, what were they in? The command throne?
Yeah.
I hated this scene. What were your thoughts on this scene?
I liked the dialogue. I didn't care about the fight.
The fighting was so weird.
Apparently, only Severin's the only one that can fight. I don't know.
Well, here's the problem I have, and it reminds me of the scene in Garo where they're surrounded by the White Scars. So
Yeah.
these guys are like completely surrounded by these half demon Lupercal things, because we kind of talked about how they're doing the same thing the Word Bears are. And Horus of Primarch, and Axamon, and Abaddon, and the other 2 members of the Morning Bowl. And Loken, Horus is like, Loken, please come back. He's like, no, Dad.
You're a bad dad.
You're mean to me because you left me alone, and I was really alone. I'm like, was it not? Loken at one point he's like, I'm not even mad that he tried to kill me, or like all of my brothers. I'm just mad because I'm alone.
It broke me.
Dude,
he tried to kill all of you. What the fuck?
I wasn't even mad when he sent the light fever virus on us and blew all of us up, and then Torgadon died, my best friend. I'm more mad because my dad abandoned me. I'm so sad.
Yeah. I don't know. At least found it interesting. Like, I don't really get why Horus would want Loken back.
I don't know why Horus would give a shit. He just got done fighting a millennia of demon battles. You'd think he'd come back and be like, who's Loken? I don't fucking care about Loken.
That, and he already tried to get rid of him. Why? What's the point? I won't even.
He already tried to kill Loken. That's a really good point. I never thought about that. Like, Horus at one point was like, drop a bomb on that motherfucker. And now he's like, aha, my guy. Come join me.
Because if you think about it this way, like at that point, Loken should have been like, yeah, this was actually I should actually just join you, and then been a fucking undercover agent in the Sons of Horus.
Yeah, that would have been a lot smarter, but no, they don't. Well, of course, Bror, the space wolf, was like, if he turns, it's my mission to kill him. Which again is like, what the fuck is this? Like, why did Malkador be like? Why was he like, hey,
He might
change. Guy, he might change. I'd be like, then why is he going? Like,
why is he in charge?
Yeah, like if you're like, I don't know about that dude, but let's send him into traitor territory and make him the leader. I'm like, you're a terrible, terrible leader, Malkador.
Also, why isn't Garo leading this? He's the leader of the Knights Errant. And I would rather, it would make more sense for Garo to go there. And you already have 2 Luna Wolves. You don't need a third.
Yeah.
It does.
Well, it's good they brought Severin, because I think he killed a majority of the people.
He's the only one that killed shit.
Yeah. So they end up getting into like a scrap. And in the middle of this scrap, Acton Kurz gets killed by Horus. Can we get a RIP for Acton Kurz?
You lasted 3 books, a short story, and 75% of the way through another book, buddy.
And it was, I got to tell you, I was mediocrely moved until every single fucking person in the room stopped fighting so Loken could hold Acton. That was the dumbest,
really ridiculous
fucking thing
I'm imagining like
ever
just, like, crying like, no, not Acton.
Severin is literally surrounded by like demons, and like they're like so moved by Loken's love for
we lost
Acton.
the legend, the guy that we all made fun of.
They look over and they're like, and they're not even themselves. They're like demons. The demons don't give a fuck about acting, but they're like, moment of silence. Everybody stop. We didn't care when everyone else died. This guy needs a moment. Even Horus, who killed Acton, is like, take a knee.
Him up.
Everyone take a knee. And so, Abaddon, I know you're about to kill that spaceful. Take a knee. Take a knee. We're about to win? Yeah, I know. Take a knee. The dumbest shit I've ever seen. It's okay. They can if they hit you, just absorb the blow. I showed you how to do that earlier. It's a really good idea. It's called plot armor. Every one of you have it. They didn't fucking kill anybody. The only person that died was fucking
Targhost.
Targhost?
The fucking Lodge Master.
Oh yeah, Targhost. That's right, Targhost. Okay, so the only person that died in that other battle was the Warlock, and he fucking came back to life anyway.
Yeah.
So,
and not only though is he holding him, Acton still talks. He's like, "Take it, take it,
take the paper, take the paper.
You'll know when you need it.
You'll understand." It's just like it's like that scene with John Grammaticus talking to Eldrad Ilthwan, and he's like, "You'll figure out your mission when it comes to you in your mind because I planned it there because it wasn't safe earlier." And I'm like, "Well, why don't you just tell him now?"
It's not safe.
It's yeah, it'll come to you. It'll come to you.
Just wait.
Walk over to that tree and it'll be in your mind.
No, all you gotta do is like 3 backflips, and then you gotta suck your own dick.
It'll come to you. It's like, why don't you just tell me? It's not safe. It's not safe. Only when you can do that are you able.
You'll be ready then.
Listen, stick 3 magnets up your ass.
You'll know when to bend.
You'll know. You'll understand. It'll come to you. Trust me. Or you'll come to it more more accurately.
I don't know how magnets work. We'll see. Depends how powerful they are, I guess.
Yeah,
which one comes
true.
first.
It's true. It'll come to you which one will come. So
Oh.
they all get blown out into outer space by the main ship, the ship that they took there. And every one of them survive. Every single fucking one.
What makes no sense to me. Because, like, the ship comes up, he hears the radio, he picks it up, and he's like, shoot him. I assume they were shooting Horus with a fucking, I don't know, whatever the hell type of torpedo shit is on a ship that should destroy anything it touches. But they just blow out some windows and play the crane game.
Come on. Come on. You know what happened. Don't be a fool. You know what happened.
He absorbed it.
He absorbed the blow, dude. Come on. This is a rookie mistake. This is a rookie fucking mistake by that pilot. She should have looked around and been like, who has the weakest plot armor? Who has the lowest absorb? Who has the lowest invuln save of the group right now?
Horus is rolling on ones.
Yeah, but he can do whatever he wants. So if she was smart, she would have just shot Acton again. That's probably the only person she could have killed.
Well, I just can't believe that game was literally like the crane game at like an arcade, and they just like picked up all the knight errants and just fucked on off.
Like, where's Horus? You know, yeah, the whole thing is.
They all should have been sucked into space and killed, but
did it talk about that?
No, they're just fine.
Guys,
Horus
we need oxygen.
They made symbols
breathe.
on our ship. Well, why?
Somebody take them off, but sir, we have no soap. Foiled.
I knew we should have kept those remembrancers.
Damn it. The disgustingness of the warp has prevented us from wiping down our ship of marked
Just
areas.
get some Death Guard. They'll just lick that shit off. Oh, you know what we didn't talk about?
Tell me.
Fucking Mortarion beheading the fucking Death Shroud in one blow.
Oh, God.
just for the random World Eater or device thing bomb guy. Yeah. I don't understand what the hell that was.
Mortarion brings back to life the guy that was killed in the Flight of the Eisenstein. Grugalor.
Yeah. Cool.
And now he's like part demon who can unleash the Life Eater virus by opening up his helmet. Which, first off, is super fucking OP. Okay,
Yeah.
where is he on the tabletop?
Just too OP.
I cast Open Helm. Everyone dies. So, to do this though, he has to kill Deathshroud. And if you recall, the last time we saw Mortarion Forest book, like a bunch of Deathshroud died fighting the Khan. So he got new Deathshroud, and then he just like out of nowhere just sliced down all the Deathshroud. And
This guy
then
comes. Then he gets more Deathshroud.
he gets more Deathshroud.
Where are
I'm
these
like,
guys coming
holy
from?
fuck.
Like, are they just the grunts? Are they even not even badass? They're just like, oh, I just got promoted today. Yippee!
It's just a lottery. It's like pulls down like random numbers. B175.
Oh,
Guys,
shit.
I made it. I made it. You have one guy in the corner like, have fun.
You're gonna be dead.
You have the lowest survival rate out of every Marine in existence now. Oh my gosh, yeah. It was very silly how many Death Shroud Terminators have died out of, but almost not as, I guess, not as silly as the Phoenix Guard in the Emperor's Children.
Yeah, they all got killed by fucking Lucius.
Mhm.
At least it was Mortarion that killed his own.
So I wanted to bring this up again because I thought about it. Character deaths. We saw a character death in this story. Iacton Cruz. And then I got to thinking, because I wasn't moved by this character death. I was rather
Everyone
annoyed
else
by
was.
it. Apparently, everyone took a knee.
Well, it also doesn't help that we already knew he died.
Yeah, and Garo. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. No, they say don't read Garo first because it's book 49, but that shit doesn't make any sense. So, anyway, I did some analysis. I was going through all the people that this is what I thought about. All the characters that have been in more than one book. Okay? And died. There's less than 15.
Okay.
Now, keep in mind, we've been introduced to like, I'd say over 200 characters now.
Probably.
Easily. And you have this problem in these books where we describe a lot of warfare. It's very hyperbolic. It's very dark. And you have people say, well, that's Warhammer, baby. But so is death. And we don't see a lot of that shit.
Yeah, not at all. Which is why it's so disappointing.
You get to this thing where you get introduced to new characters in a book, and it's episodical. So you can literally determine what's going to happen at the beginning of the book.
Are they a salamander? Dead.
Yeah, you can basically like determine like who's going to die, who's going to live. And if somebody lives who's not supposed to die, you're like, fuck, now I have to keep track of them forever because now they're never going to die. Like they're always going to live. And you run into this problem where you're never scared for your characters. So let's go. I want to take a trip down memory lane here.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for all the memes.
First name to die was Carcassy.
Oh, that's an RIP.
That was an RIP. Now, I'll have to say, a majority of these deaths, when you look at the timeline, a lot of them actually take place in the first three books, the second and third book. And I don't think that those three books, even though they're phenomenal books, I really enjoy the story of the first three books. They're not representative of the rest of the heresy, in my opinion.
Not really.
So you have him die. He died. Then you had... The fuck was the name of the dude that was like the guard? He was like in the middle of becoming half Space Marine, and he was mute and couldn't talk. He was like the...
I know exactly who you're talking about. The one that almost killed Cruz, but somehow Cruz came back and is a fucking badass.
Yeah,
and dies to Horus. Yeah.
Yep, kills him. Okay. Then The other deaths we have Tarek, but he also kind of comes back.
Tormageddon.
So questionable death. I would have said Logan kind of comes back.
He definitely comes back. It's not kinda.
Yeah, he comes back. So the only person that really died at Ispan 3 that I would say was even named is Saul Tarvitz.
Yeah, and I guess like Tameter from the Death Guard. He was like the captain there.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
Rolinar is still alive somewhere chilling.
Yeah, Raylanor's doing some shit. Well, no, Tameter, he died. Oh, well, Tameter's kind of a weird one because he died in the same book he was introduced in,
True.
but he technically was talked about in Fly the Eisenstein, which was the book after, book 3.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird one. Kind of going from there. Deaths that, and these are all deaths that I think are very unimportant deaths. Another unimportant death that I think is Ferrous Mantis. Now, people are going to argue about that, but the fact of the matter is we know that Ferrous Mantis died. Everyone knew that Ferrous Mantis died. Not only did we know that he died, we knew where he died, how he died, and who killed him before it ever happened.
Yeah.
If you played any 40K at all, you knew that. And he also died the same book he was introduced.
Yep.
The only reason he could kind of be counted in this category is because he was in a short story in the Primarch's novel. That's it.
Yep.
If we continue down the line, you run into characters that start having what I would consider to be like a little bit more of an impact, but still you don't really know the names of. The character that died in Nemesis to replace Horus.
I don't remember.
I don't remember his name. The character that died in Garo, that was part of Garo's team that came back, and he was the apothecary. Remember, he was doing research on the.
Yeah. I don't remember his name either.
Don't remember his name. Not at all. As a matter of fact, even if we look at this book, The Vengeful Spirit, all of the characters that were actually introduced in the Book of Garo survived. The only knights errants that died were ones that were introduced at the beginning of this book.
Man, losing the Iron War made me so sad.
It did, because he had more character than the rest of them by having no character.
Yep.
If we look at Marines, I think there have been a total of 4 character deaths. 4 character deaths that I would consider to be major-ish. Because we look back, we can even think of the assassin from Nemesis that technically died in Garo, but everyone thought he was dead anyway, and he came back and was evil, but no one explained why he was evil.
Kel.
Yeah, Kel. He fits into this category. He died.
Mm-hmm.
Not even a person. All of these people so far, like I wouldn't consider the game to be set till after Isfam 5. Not even like pawns. Not even people that I would consider important enough to like justify like a power trip, right?
I mean, Argyle Tall is probably the biggest one.
Yeah. So the top 4 biggest deaths that we've seen. Probably number 4, I would say Marius Vorstein.
Yeah.
The Emperor's Children person. The one that like has a crazy. He was a noise marine, and he was killed by an Iron Warrior, I think.
That ain't Angel Exterminatus, right?
Yeah.
I might have even read that.
Yeah, like he's kind of like a like when you look at Emperor's Children, he's like the 6th most important Emperor's Children character, but he's dead. Then I'd say Iacton. The death of Iacton is like, I think the first character on this tier that's like, okay, we know that guy. He was in 3 books. He's in a short story. He obviously is a character, but like not a character that any of us thought was important.
Yeah.
And like kind of Like, it doesn't make me feel impacted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we have the two that I think are important, but the next one's Nimiel. And they fucking killed him in the shittiest way possible.
Yeah.
They kill him in a way that, like, if you didn't read that short story, you'd be like, what the fuck? Because, like, we read The Unremembered Empire. And if you didn't read the Lion short story in the Primarch's novel, you'd be like, where the fuck's Nimiel? I thought he was chill with this guy.
Especially since like we had such a like big thing about Zahariel and Nimiel. Like everything built up for one to be the Fallen, one to be the Loyalists, and for them to fight.
You know, it's interesting because it's like, he was a main character for 2 books.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Just gets killed because the lion gets mad.
And you don't like even get there's not even like a moment where a Marine is like, that was crazy. Some crazy shit. Did you see that shit? The lion just fucking beheaded
Bro, you just
Nimiel.
killed our chaplain.
He was the main character the last 2 books. Like, it kind of scares me. Like, Corswain should be shitting himself right now. I don't want to be main character. Fuck that. You have, and then of course the number 1 death is Argaltal, which we thought was amazing.
There's one more missing. It was in more than 1 book. It was in 2. Salt Harvets.
I said Salt Harvets.
Oh shit.
Isfan 3. Yeah, I saw Salt Harvets. Yeah.
Shit.
So that was the only major death from Isfan 3 was Salt Harvets.
Oh yeah.
And I know for a fact that there are definitely word bearers that were mentioned in like Mark of Calth and No Fear, like that died. But I'm like, I don't fucking remember these dudes' names.
The only ones I remember are Erebus and Argantal.
Yeah, like
and
they're
fucking
definitely. Yeah, there's definitely names that like Fodrofel comes to mind.
Yeah, that's a name.
And I think he was in a couple books, maybe a short story.
I'm trying to think of. I mean, Karn is still alive. He's gone through
Karn
a
is still
few.
It's not a lot. I was thinking like through the chapters, like Thousand Suns, we've only really had 1 story of them. The Space Wolves, no one died. We have not seen any of the characters from Legion.
All the salamanders are dead.
All of them. Like there's only like right now there's 2 salamanders that survived stories so far.
Oh man, I didn't even tell you this. There was with the Humble Bundle coming out, there's like several salamander books. And Nick kind of like tweeted about them, and I tweeted at him. I was like, I'm pretty sure there's only 2 salamanders left. And he just liked it because he knows that's fucking right. It's like, damn, he's right.
so many deaths of salamanders. They always come in. I remember when we were reading Scars, and there was that salamander in Scars, and in the preview, I was like, I'm gonna bet money that this guy's gonna be like the father figure of the situation and then die in some sacrifice.
Yep,
Straight up happened. Like 100. I did not read that beforehand. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying though. The problem is these books have become episodical because they want them to be able to be picked up. And like anyone should be able to read the Vengeful Spirit. Right? Because they're like, there's no way we can convince people to read 62 books. Fair enough. But
yeah, but when like Vengeful Spirit, when it takes 5 fucking short stories just to know what the hell's going on, like exactly. How are you supposed to do that?
So the problem is like they'll write Vengeful Spirit as an episodical book. They'll introduce characters and kill those characters, but the main characters live on because it's like a sitcom where each episode is supposed to be watched alone, but have a very minimal impact of the overall storyline that takes a very long time to develop, right? Where you run into this problem, like how do we make that episodical, but also work in a 62 book series? So they're like, okay, well, let's create all these short stories to patch together all the things that not the real readers, because everyone is a real reader. I'm not trying to like discredit people that just want to pick up the Vengeful Spirit, but they're trying to say for people who are reading the series, how do we make these connections make sense. Oh, let's just release a bunch of short stories to say this is what happened, this is what happened. And that's a terrible way to do it. And you run into this problem where it's like episodical things make sense for comedies that are TV shows that are 30 minutes. It doesn't make sense for wartime books that are 600 fucking pages long. I don't want to read an episodical 600-page long story about war. Like, I want to see people die and do some crazy shit.
Yeah.
I've been talking a lot.
It's all right. I mean, we're at an hour 15.
Oh, God.
Honestly, I'm impressed we got through Vengeful Spirit so fast.
We really didn't take a lot of time to focus on the story aspects because I think we did a really good job at like saying, let's focus on this area and this area.
Yeah.
You know, there's definitely a lot more to the story. I think this is a skippable book, personally. I think you can skip it. I don't think it's going to be that impactful to Wolfsbane. I think you can literally just say, Horus got powerful.
I'm going to assume that the Perpetual comes into play.
The Perpetual might do something. That's another big thing.
Maybe Malik comes up again with Mortarion staying there. Maybe he wanders in. I don't fucking know. Because, I mean, he has to become Nurgle-ish soon. I mean, I know it happens at Buried Dagger, but it has to...
I know how
the seed has to be coming eventually, right?
Yeah. That's another thing is I wonder why Mortarion didn't go through the portal.
He was like, man, fuck that shit.
It's like, damn it. The Mortarion, that's another conversation I want to have. Maybe we can have that real quick about Mortarion and how this book makes him even less sensical to me. It's like whoever is writing Mortarion writes him however they want to write him because his beliefs and what he thinks is right, so it's different every book.
Yeah.
It doesn't. The Mortarion that I knew in Thousand Suns wouldn't kill his death shroud to summon a demon into the world.
No.
The Mortarion I knew in the Con wouldn't have, or in the Scars wouldn't have done that. Because he was like, fuck this shit.
He hates it. He doesn't. He almost like realizes he messed up.
Yeah.
But he's like, well, I'm too deep now.
I guess. But he talks about how he used to make those demon things on his home planet.
That's weird.
I was like, what? Mortarion is my least favorite Primarch because of how inconsistent he is, and I don't understand his mindset on things. I really hope we get a book soon about Mortarion because
it's called Buried Dagger.
The last fucking book of the series.
Right before we're going to the siege.
I know. So I'm hoping we get something about Mortarion. Let me see what we got here. We got, okay, there's the Buried Dagger. Wow, Wolfsbane is 49. We don't get the follow-up to this book till book 49.
What number is this? 29?
29.
What the? Dude, we have Damnation of Pythos next. I'm scared.
Yeah, I'd like listen to the first chapter.
I haven't opened. I'm gonna start reading tomorrow. Probably.
I'm looking. I don't know if we ever actually do get a book about
the Death Guard
until the Buried Dagger. It's like they were about to release the Siege, and they were like, "Oh fuck, wait."
we need some Nurgle shit.
Yeah, man.
So what's your numerical rating for your personal enjoyment?
4.
Importance.
There were parts that I enjoyed. 4, in my opinion. I think like that. Obviously, the warp shit is important, but I really feel as if you could convince yourself if you didn't read it. You could be like, "Ah, yeah, he's a demon dude. He does that stuff."
Personal enjoyment, I would probably put it at a 6. Importance, I'm going to say a 7, just because. Sure, I mean the Perpetual Knew the Emperor.
Iacton has died. Perpetual knew the Emperor. Horus is buffed, and the marks are in the Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah. I don't think the marks mean shit. But
they're gonna scrub them off with some soap.
Yeah, that's a thing. But yeah, I think that's it. Anything else?
No, I'm excited for Damnation of Pythos.
I think we're gonna have fun with it.
I think we are too.
So guys, that is our review of the Vengeful Spirit. We'll be back next week with our preview of Damnation of Pythos. In the meantime, join the Discord. It's a lot of fun. You can do that by going to our Twitter. It is pinned to the top at Heresy Lodge. If you feel like contributing to the podcast, we do have tips enabled. Anything that goes into that goes right back into the podcast. If you're on YouTube, please like, subscribe, comment, whatever. We always get back. You can also email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. And then we will be back next week, guys. Have a good one.